Welcome to Monster Territory, everybody. Brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. I did not like this game tonight. The Red Sox do win the series 2 out of 3, but not the way you wanted to end this series. You had a lot of good vibes. You had momentum. You had something to build off of. You had the bullpen phone cover symbol, the new symbol of the Red Sox in 2025. Well, ended up being the bullpen was absolutely gassed tonight, and that ended up being a big factor in this loss tonight. But Garrett Crochet, that's the story for me in this one. Garrett Crochet, only 85 pitches tonight. I'll give you my thoughts on that. A little preview. I'm not very happy about that decision. I understand the reasoning behind it. We'll talk about that as well. Alex Cora did talk about that post-game, but I'll give you my thoughts on that. This offense. I mean, listen, you had... with Ramon Vasquez managing the last couple of games, they were able to figure something out there. They limited the strikeouts. I'm going blank on the number. What was it? 12 combined strikeouts in the first 2 games. And tonight, 16 in just tonight's game. That is absurd. Key strikeouts in the 5th inning where they had a chance to maybe blow open that game. We'll get into that. And Baltimore is coming into town. We'll do a series preview on that. I'm also going to do a slightly new segment tonight. I'm going to give you a few ups and a few downs for this series. So we'll get into that. But before we do go any further, if you can, if you're live with us here on YouTube, hit the like button for us. Subscribe if you're new. We also have a couple of sponsors to talk about before we get to the post-game breakdown. Let's go talk about that.
FT fam, let's talk about the HOF app. If you're into parlays, but sometimes you're missing the mark more than you would like to, can I introduce you to some serious analytics on an app that is easy to read and comprehend? And I'm sitting next to a man who knows how to place a parlay.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is breaking down a parlay. With this Hall of Fame app, there's the situations that you'll find easier to do. It's very helpful and understanding. And if you like, gambling, sometimes this is really good to know. So get on there, get on that Hall of Fame app and check it out.
Yeah, this is info that will help you, okay? With a 4.9 rating in the App Store and over 6,000 5-star reviews, safe to say that HOF has already helped a lot of people bet smarter. For a limited time only, FT listeners can get a 7-day free trial and 50% off their first month when they use code FOUL at checkout. Download the HOF app on iOS or Android. Enter code FOUL and you're all set. I just want to say, before Arena Club, if you were trying to very actively buy, sell, trade, it was very complicated and used a lot of mail that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to do it, but I'm glad we have Arena Club now because it's a one-stop shop for everything card related.
It is, and right now you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FOUL. Use code FOUL. If you're a collector, you've got to check out Arena Club. Go get after it.
And right now, you could get the Marcelo Meyer 2023 card by signing up with Arena Club. Go check that out. Go take advantage of that deal, Arena Club. They got a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of good stuff going on right now as well. Now, let's get to the post-game breakdown. Do want to highlight one comment here. I haven't done this before. Let's see if this works. Oh, it works. Okay, cool. I can put this right on the screen. Cesar Nunez, all I care about is to keep taking series. That is a very good point, Cesar. Completely agree with you. To me, the goal is always to win the series, right? A sweep is like a luxury, in my opinion. But something about this one, I really wanted this sweep, right? If there was ever a time I wanted a luxury, it was this one, right? Because you had a lot of good things going the last couple of games against a good Mets team. And, you kind of just wanted to finish it off and have those good vibes keep on going. But you are right there. Absolutely. You just want to take the series at the end of the day. That is the goal. So that is the good thing there. I didn't know I could drag comments onto the screen like that. That's pretty neat. So maybe I'll have to do that a little bit more as we go on. Now, let's get to the post-game breakdown. Let me give you my thoughts here on Garrett Crochet 85 pitches, right? Very solid night for Crochet. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned, 5 Ks. A bit of a different pitch mix tonight. He was working in the cutter a lot more. And I think that's because the pitches that he throws, the Mets have had success against those pitches this year. They've done all right against fastballs. He's more of a sweeper guy, but they have had success against the slider this year. So I think he was just trying to mix and match a little bit more. So, but Crochet, I felt like he was looking pretty solid stuff-wise. Spin rate was looking pretty solid. Velo, that was looking good. His usual velo. And, he ran into a little trouble, right? At one point, but nothing really crazy. But you're in the 6th inning. He just strikes out Soto. And you're thinking, all right, cool. All right, he's at 85 pitches. All right, looking like you're probably going to get a good 6 innings out of Crochet. And then let's see what the bullpen can do, right? They've been heavily taxed the first 2 games of this series. So we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But here comes Alex Cora taking out Crochet at 85 pitches. The way he was walking to the mound almost made me think maybe he was just going out to chat with him or something, like a bit of a game plan. I don't know. I was like, because he wasn't walking out with that same, beeline to take out a guy. It almost felt like there was a little hesitation with it. I don't know. I don't know if I was the only one that noticed that or thought that. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. But to me, at least, it felt like there was a little hesitancy there. And why wouldn't there be, right? Crochet's your ace. This is the guy every 5th day that you brought in, you gave up good prospects for, you signed to a big contract. This is your horse. This is your pig, right? For the next several years. And now, Alex Cora did talk about this. Let's pull up the comments here. Chris Cotillo had it. He said, it was predetermined that Crochet was going to have a shorter outing for tonight. Basically, it was a bad break that it came after 2 bullpen heavy days. Crochet said that he wasn't aware of the plan, was frustrated as a competitor, but he understands it. Now, I don't know. I'm a little weird on this one. I'm a little weird on this one. Well, first off, let's talk about the actual decision. To me, the one thing I think about is when the Red Sox said there were no limitations on Garrett Crochet this year. I get it. Couple of back-to-back outings where he had over 100 pitches. Fair. I get it. And I understand, wanting to limit workload at some points. But to me, I feel like timing is also a factor. And I get it. Cora said, kind of bad timing. Obviously, with the heavy bullpen days, the last couple of days. But to me, I just feel like, you know what, you're really trying to build that mojo. And I feel like keeping him out there would have been the best thing. And again, it was 85 pitches. It's not like it's the 2003 ALCS Game 7 with Pedro Martinez, who's already over 100 pitches at that point, right? Yeah, you can look back on that and say, okay, that was a terrible decision. But he's at 85 here. To me, if he's looking good, feeling good, just struck out Juan Soto, who, he's had a pretty tough go as of late. You keep him out there to at least finish the inning, right? And maybe if he runs into a little trouble, then okay. Again, I can understand managing the workload, but I think it needs to be at a better time. Now, tonight, in my opinion, wasn't the best time. That's just my opinion. I'm a little old-fashioned when it comes to the pitch counts. I'm not going back to the 70s and 80s, when these guys are, throwing, going complete games all the time, right? I'm not like that, but I don't know. To me, you're at 85 through 5 1/3, right? I think you should be able to get at least another out or 2, at least, get out of that middle of the order there, right? Pete Alonso was coming up, but then, I saw people talking about, oh, well, there was a bit of stats worked in there as well. I think Red Sox stats put out there that the whiff rate goes down with Garrett Crochet as he goes deeper into the game. Well, yeah, the strikeout rate has dropped the 3rd time through the order for Garrett Crochet. And the first couple of times through the order, he's over 10 strikeouts per 9, but the 3rd time it drops to around 7 per 9. But I mean, you just struck out Soto, all right? And I get it, lefty-righty against Pete Alonso, but Pete Alonso's hitting righties better this year than lefties. I don't know. I just didn't agree with it very much, especially since he was looking fine. Didn't look like, like what McGill was looking like, where he was running out of gas. Crochet looked fine. And, he was bothered about it. He was bugged by it. So, again, he said he understood the decision. But let's get back to this part of the tweet here. Said he wasn't aware of the plan. Why are you not aware of the plan? Why? Why are these things not being communicated? I'm sorry. I don't mean to get frustrated here, but why are these things not being talked about? Wasn't aware of the plan. Why? Why not? Why don't you talk to these? I'm not trying to make a connection with the Rafi Devers thing, but we've talked a lot about, it seems like there's been a lack of communication with the whole Rafi thing, going back to spring training, the whole third base thing. This is your ace. Like, talk with him about it, right? Give him a heads up. That's just me. I feel like you got to talk about this stuff a little bit more. I don't know, man. That's just me. Josh Lubchinsky is in the chat. Happen to see that Yankees comeback rolling. Oh, yeah? Oh, man. How about them Yankees? Oh, my goodness. Kill me. Thank you, Josh, for coming on out tonight. Tough night for the Red Sox tonight. But let's move on a little further here, right? Crochet, hey, it is what it is. I don't agree with the move. But, hey, whatever. At that point, if he makes the call, you make the call. You got to deal with it. Bullpen, Liam Hendriks came in. Liam Hendriks, he talked before the game saying, if you want the best Liam Hendriks, if you want the best version of me, you got to put me out there. Well, Liam Hendriks, we put you out there, and you didn't do so hot here tonight, Mr. Liam Hendriks. You got the 2 outs in the 6th inning, so I'm thinking at that point, okay, all right, fine. Got out of it. All right, let's see, because I expected him to go out for another inning, especially with how much the bullpen's been taxed. But I don't know. I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of games over the years, and sure, when you pull a guy early, there's been plenty of times where it's worked out. I just felt like the circumstances of tonight's game, with the heavy workload for the bullpen the last couple of days, I just had a bad feeling about it. I just didn't feel good about it. I was saying to myself, they lost the game. I was saying that to myself. And Hendriks, I wasn't feeling confident about going back out for that extra inning there, and ended up imploding. Overall, 0 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned in the 7th. Torrens, Taylor, and Acuna got on base. And Acuna actually got on base with there was a challenge play on it. Trevor Story made a late throw. They ended up calling Acuna safe on the play. So he ended up getting taken out after that. Brennan Bernardino came in. Hey, Bernardino's been going a lot lately. It is what it is. Hendriks has been fresh. To me, if you're looking at someone, if you're looking to point the finger, I'm looking at the Garrett Crochet thing, honestly. I'm trying to get as many outs as I can, right? Again, you could say, oh, Hendriks got out of he finished off the inning for Crochet. I'm looking for outs, right? Hendriks, if he comes in fresh for the next inning, maybe it ends up being a different thing. But Brennan Bernardino, he's been worked a lot lately. Brett Beatty, 2 RBI, double to left. They made a 3-1. Soto with the sac fly. He got into that one a little bit. And then Newcomb ended up finishing it off. Another shout out to Newcomb, right? He did give up the Lindor home run. But this guy, he just pitched a few days ago, right? He pitched almost 5 innings, and he comes back and throws another couple here. Sean Newcomb, man, looking good. But we got to get to the offense. 16 strikeouts on the night. Is that a season high? I think that is a season high. I don't remember the last time you struck out that much. I believe that is a season high. Did not confirm that. I mean, like I said in the intro, first couple of games, 12 combined strikeouts, and then alone tonight, 16. I don't know. Fenway Fanatic, it was a season high. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, I thought that was a season high. I was about to say I don't remember hearing 16 this year, but the 5th inning, that was your shot right there. And it was kind of one of those things. I've seen a lot of games over the years. You got a tie game, you got a bases loaded situation. Sogard, the Narv dog base hit. The Carlos Narvaez, he talked with the Play Tessie guys today, and he said Narvi is actually the nickname. There's been this thing over the nickname with Carlos Narvaez, but he actually has Narvi tattooed on his arm. So that is the nickname, but I'm going to stick with Narv Dog. I like that one. But those two got on base. Story with the strikeout. We'll talk about him in just a second. Seti got hit by a pitch. Got hit on the hand there. Ended up being fine. Bases loaded. Duran, he got into one there. The wind was blowing a little bit tonight, and I was thinking, he might have got into one here, and then no, ended up falling short. But the sac fly, listen, I'm okay with a sac fly. That's fine, because you still had another opportunity. And McGill, wild pitch after that, said he moved up to second. Then Raffy got the walk. You ended up going to the bullpen. And then Bregman striking out, right? So 2 key strikeouts there when you're trying to build a rally against a tiring Trevor McGill. Story with a strikeout, Bregman with a strikeout. Listen, I don't want to get on to Bregman too much because this guy has been phenomenal this year. So you got to take advantage of these opportunities. Got to take advantage. But, series takeaways. In the end, you win 2 out of 3. You win 2 out of 3. That is the goal. Right, like we mentioned in the beginning of the show, right? Caesar saying you got to win this series. That's all you care about. And yes, that is correct. So it is a positive one, right? It's weird when you win 2 out of 3, but then you lose the last game because it's like especially with the Red Sox being so up and down the way they've been, you want as much. Tony Maserati, he talks about this saying he doesn't believe in momentum. I kind of do, right? I think when you find something that works, you got to keep riding that horse, right? And to me, I felt like the Red Sox kind of just got off that horse tonight. I'm a believer in momentum, right? Especially when you got guys that have just figured things out and you're all clicking, right? Just seemed like things were clicking the last couple of days, despite the low scoring. But then again, you look at the starting pitching with the Mets and the bullpen, they've had some of the best pitching in the game. So the fact that you're able to get the job done those first couple of games, that to me was a huge positive, especially against that pitching staff. But here are my ups for this series, right? Like I said, you figured something out in the first 2 games. There was energy there. You had the bullpen cover, right? That was the symbol. Also, shout out Sign Guy. He was out there today. He did. I told him on Twitter, hey, make a sign of the bullpen cover. Of the bullpen phone cover. Make the sign. You know what to do. He did it. He actually made the sign, and he brought it there today during the pregame with Tom Caron. And was it Lenny DiNardo, I think? I think Tom Caron, he told security to leave the sign guy alone because he was holding up the sign behind them in the pregame. I thought that was hilarious. But you had that. You found something fun. It just felt like last night, there was a different feel, there was just something, just a feel good vibe about that one, but Ramon Vasquez, here's another up. Shout out to him, man. Ramon Vasquez stepping up. Alex Cora going to his daughter's graduation. I think that was completely fine, but give it up for him for great bullpen management. The guy was pushing the right buttons at the right time. Love the way Vasquez managed those last couple of games. It just felt like he was just tuned in, just felt like he was dialed in to just the feel of the game as it went along. That was what I got from Ramon Vasquez. Didn't leave guys in too long. He pulled them when it just felt right. Ramon Vasquez, again, I don't know, just the moves he made, they just felt right. The offense looked different. Granted, McGill, I will say this. McGill, he has been a heavier strikeout pitcher this year compared to Clay Holmes and Kadai Senga. So there is that, but 16 strikeouts, you can't be doing that. But the offense, they were just doing things differently. They were taking the bases when they had the opportunities. They were moving guys over, taking the runs when they were there. Just felt different. Tonight, it just felt like once again an all or nothing kind of a night. Another up, bullpen, right? Bullpen management was great, but, that's because the bullpen was fantastic, right? Awesome job in the first 2 games. 11 innings total. 0 earned runs, 8 strikeouts overall. Bullpen was fantastic. Say what you will about tonight, but they look great first couple of games. And then you had a couple of key guys stepping up. Jarren Duran, good game for him tonight. And then game 1, he had a double and a triple in that one. Jarren Duran, he looks like he's back. Raffy Narvi stepping up in game 2. Yeah, a couple of homers. That's all you needed, right? Key guys stepping up when it mattered most. However, here are my downs. We already talked about the decision tonight, pulling Crochet. That's a down for me. And I'll say this too. Was that an Alex Cora move? Was that a Craig Breslow move? I don't know. Was that a mutual decision? Again, but why wasn't Crochet talked to about this? I mean, I don't know. Is that the thing? Do you just not talk to your pitcher? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound ignorant over here, but I don't know. It sounds like something you would communicate to your guy. I don't know. maybe there's a good reason for it. Maybe you don't want to talk to the guy. Maybe you don't want to talk to Crochet about it because you don't want to get it in his head. So maybe that's that, I don't know. But again, I get back to the fact that the Red Sox said there was no limits with him. And if they're going to say that, then stand by that. Again, I understand managing workload, but tonight was not the right night, especially when the bullpen was taxed. If your bullpen was fresh, okay. And if not, and if you were going to stand by it, Crochet, going to have a shorter workload tonight, then maybe call up another guy, right? That might be a little difficult because it's like, okay, well, who do you send down? Could you have done something with Sogard? Probably not, because he's been hitting well lately. Abraham Toro? Well, that's tough too because there's no options left with him. They probably want to keep Toro until they eventually have their answer at first base. So, I don't know. That's a little bit of a tougher move, right? You can't really do much with the roster at this point. So, I don't know. That's just me, man. Another down, Trevor Story. I'm getting a little worried about Trevor Story right now. Tonight, a couple of Ks, 2 for 11 in the series. That throw to first base, not on time. The one thing about Trevor Story, let's go pull up the numbers here. The one thing with him has been the good defense over the last couple of years. He's been very good. However, when you take a look here at the defense this year, it's not the same, right? Let's go back. Last couple of years here. Go back to 2023. The arm with Trevor Story has always been a thing. I remember, he ended up getting that elbow surgery at one point, but the range has been very good with him. Go back to last year, right? He didn't play as much last year, but still 2 outs above average. Arm was right around there. But then this year, the range is down. Arm strength right below league average. So it's like if he's not doing anything with the bat, where he's only hitting 229 at this point. Let's go pull up the updated numbers with Trevor Story after tonight. Hitting 228, a 603 OPS overall. He is getting very close to the 500s there. Already 600s. It's like, okay, we got to figure something out. But if you're into the 5s, you got to do something. All right, this is getting a little worrisome. In the beginning of the year, the first few weeks, I was feeling good about Story, right? Because he was on a pretty good streak, but he was doing the little things. He was, even if he wasn't getting all the hits or the home runs, when he got on base, he would steal a base, right? He has 6 home runs, 9 stolen bases on the year. He's driven in runs. He drove in a run in this series. So it's not like he was completely terrible, but the longer the season goes on, and if you're not going to have, as the best possible defense you can have at short, Marcelo Meyer, his name's been thrown around, right? Christian Campbell getting the reps at first base as of late. So a lot of talk about Marcelo Meyer maybe getting, that second base opportunity. But I don't know. The Red Sox, Alex Cora, he talked about Christian Campbell yesterday. There was a lot going on in last night's game, so I wasn't able to cover everything. But you get back to that, Alex Cora, what he was saying that, there's not really a timeline right now for Christian Campbell. They're kind of just going with the feel of it. Craig Breslow touched on that as well. So I don't know. It makes me wonder, are they fully set on Campbell going to first base? I don't know. Or are they just kind of letting it play out? Are they just not sure? Or again, like I said, are they just not set with it? I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder. I know I've said Raffy staying at DH seems to be the way to go. I don't know. Does that pop up again? I'm not sure what's going on right now is basically what I'm trying to say. But if Trevor Story isn't doing much for the bat and he's not helping out defensively, I think for the most part he's going to be solid out there. But if you can improve, Marcelo Meyer at this point, I think he's going to be an upgrade. But then again, you look at the field general part of it. You look at the veteran and that Trevor Story is. You want that veteran out there. You know what I mean? It's that feel part of it, right? Story's been there, done that. He's been a successful shortstop in Major League Baseball for years, minus the last couple of years. So do you make that kind of a move mid-season? But at the end of the day, if Marcelo Meyer's producing and if he's going to upgrade your defense, do you make a decision there, right? Do you do Meyer at shortstop? Keep Campbell at second, and then maybe you figure out, who knows, maybe Raffy steps up, right? I'm not sure what the answer is, honestly. I feel like a lot of things are in limbo right now. I feel like things are just up in the air. I'm not sure. We're going to have to wait and see. But we do have a quick preview of the next series. We got a 4-game set, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 4-game set. And listen, this Baltimore Orioles team, they absolutely stink this year. They are not anywhere close to the expectations. I'm thinking they're going to be a wild card team this year. Sure, starting pitching didn't look all that great coming into the year. But, you know, how many times have we seen over the years where something doesn't look good going into the year, but then they end up kind of surprising you? I thought maybe that could have happened with the Orioles. Eflin, he's not bad. He's not an ace of the staff, in my opinion. But then I thought, okay, Grayson Rodriguez, he'll come back here. You know, eventually they got Kyle Bradish. So I thought the starting pitch would be okay. Holy cow, they've been very bad this year. They're 16-32. You got to take advantage of this starting pitching. It's the worst starting pitching in Major League Baseball. These guys, look at these starting pitchers here. Cade Povich, Morton, Eflin, Kramer, all of them have over a 5 ERA. You have got to take advantage of this. They are 27th in strikeouts per 9. Please limit the strikeouts in this series. Holy cow. If they're going to be, I'm going to say this right now. If the Red Sox are striking out left and right in this series, there's a problem because this Orioles staff doesn't strike guys out. I mean, they're going to avoid Tomoyuki Sagano. That guy doesn't strike out anyone. This is going to be, I think, this is going to be a series. Obviously, every series is you watch it, but I'm going to be paying attention to that. If they're going to be striking out a lot, that says more about the Red Sox than the Orioles, in my opinion, because the Orioles, again, 27th in strikeouts per 9. I think from the pitching side of things, the Orioles, they're top 10 when it comes to fly ball percentage. Got to keep the ball down. Lucas Giolito, he's had some issues where he's hung some pitches in the last few starts. Brian Bale, I'm looking at him, just looking for him to go deeper. Eflin, he's been a little rough as of late. Got to take advantage. Dean Kramer, I mean, 5.50 ERA, got to take advantage. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really do appreciate that. In the end, you got a series win. That's the most important thing. But hopefully they can build some more momentum here against this Orioles team. If you're kind of the way out, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.